Welcome to Nitty Gritty Real Estate. In this series, we're interviewing Matthew Cox. He's infamous for committing millions of dollars in mortgage fraud, for which he served 12 years in prison. He has an ugly past, no doubt, but we're looking beyond that to learn from his unique perspective in the industry so that we can become better real estate investors. Let's get into it.
So appraisal fraud. One of the things that, I don't know how common it is. I would say for me it was common. In general, I think if you have a relationship with an appraiser, it becomes common. It may be less common now because a lot of banks are requiring their own appraisers to go out, or appraisers that are on their specific lists. However, I'm sure if you build up a relationship with an appraiser, it's still just as easy. I actually had an appraiser that was doing at least 20 appraisals a month for my company. So if I'm paying you $300 or $400 per appraisal, so if I'm paying you $400 and you're doing 20 appraisals, well, that's $8,000 a month, and it's all almost complete. It's all profit. They do it. They work out of their spare room, right, off their laptop or in their car. They already have the license. They have very little overhead, if any overhead. So it's all profit. So I'm basically paying you $8,000 a month. So I actually had a guy one time, the appraiser showed up. He'd been trying to sell this piece of property for 6 months to a year. He'd have 4 or 5 different loans fall apart. Because the problem was that the house was a 5-unit. And a 5-unit building is considered commercial. It's a commercial loan. Doesn't matter if that 5-unit is in the middle of a residential area and isn't even zoned commercial. It's considered a commercial loan. Well, my appraiser came. I had a customer that was buying the house, and so I meet the appraiser out there and I say, hey, listen, the guy looks at I say, look, it's a 5-unit, and he goes, oh, okay, well, that's all right. Yeah, I can do a 5-unit. I do commercial. I said, no, I need it to be done as a residential appraisal. And he went, yeah, but it's 5 units. I said, yeah, here's what I need you to do. I need you to say that the extra unit, which is an efficiency, I need you to say that that is a storage shed. He goes, yeah, but there's 5 meters. I go, right. Say that the 5th meter is the house meter that runs the sprinkler system and all the outside lights. He goes, is there a sprinkler system? I said, no, but you'll put it down on the appraisal that there's a sprinkler system and that there's exterior lights, common area lights. I said, and that's how we'll get around it. And he was like, oh, Matt, that's I could get a lot of that could be an issue. And I was like, yeah, well, that's fine. I said, but I understand you're stretching it a little bit. I said, and I appreciate that. I said, but the fact of the matter is we're ordering 20 appraisals from you every single month. I said, a lot of appraisers would love to have that business. So, make up your mind. I said, this is something I need. It's a favor. And so he goes, yeah, all right, I'll do it. So he gave me an appraisal that said it was a 4-unit. We got this guy a loan, or the person buying the loan, which is actually a realtor who owns a real estate business in Tampa, Florida, to this day, that I saw not even 2 months ago. And is still in the industry. The point is did the loan, borrowed about $100,000. I'm sorry, $100,000. Borrowed about $190,000, $200,000 on the piece of property. So that same appraiser did multiple appraisals for me. I had another appraiser, and that's obviously appraisal fraud. And the bank did bank fraud. And the bank just lent money on a piece of property at a much lower interest rate, at a much higher loan to value than they ever would have for a commercial piece of property. Mm. So the other thing that we would do all the time was, we're in the middle of a rehab. So I'm doing a rehab. I bought a piece of property. We're in the middle of the rehab. The appraiser gets there. He goes into the property, and there's no carpet, and the drywall's half done. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, look, I need you to finish the appraisal. He goes, well, I can do it subject to repairs. I go, no, I really need this thing to close like in a couple weeks. So I need you to say that the carpet's there and that the appliances are here and the drywall's done. Swap out the pictures with some other pictures from a completed property. And he was like, oh, man, are you serious? I said, come on, bro, you know I'm good for it. We're ordering all these appraisals, blah, blah, blah. You've seen me do the rehabs, and we had a good relationship. I'm paying you extra amount of dollars. You need me to give you a few more $100. I'm giving you a lot of business. And he was like, all right, all right. So he goes ahead and does it. We closed on that property and borrowed $150,000, $200,000 on that property before it was even completed. But it's appraisal fraud. He's giving you appraisals that are dummied up appraisals to clear with the lenders. And those appraisals appeared very legitimate. Even, I believe even one of them was, one of the appraisals, there was a what's called a field review where they actually sent out another appraiser to drive by the property and take a picture of the front of the property and all the comparables. He didn't go in the property. And the other one, I believe, got what's called a desktop review, where they actually just review all the other comparables, and it looked legitimate. It all looked good. So, yeah, that's a appraisal fraud, and it's illegal.